There is no sugarcoating or sympathy, just the raw, unadulterated facts. Someone in their group has just stepped up and spoken the cold, harsh truth in front of them. Eventually, their alleged buddy reached a point of no return and exposed everything. Despite the fact that they have been playing the victim, fabricating tales, and trying to escape accepting responsibility for their conduct, this situation is all their fault. The buddy made it clearly clear that everyone is aware of the fraud. Nobody feels sorry for them anymore, and there is no sympathy left. The ramifications they are experiencing are the product of their own acts, and their feelings of isolation are quite warranted. They made their judgments, and now they must face the hard fact that they have only themselves to blame for their actions. Someone from your past has been languishing in regret. This is the individual that rejected you, ignored your worth, and mocked your potential. They've been yearning for compassion. They confided in your acquaintance in the hopes of gaining comfort. Instead, they were surprised by what they received, the harsh and chilly reality. Your buddy stared them in the eyes and said, "Do you think the universe cares about your little sob story about drowning in guilt and how you can't sleep at night thinking about what you've done? Let me tell you something that you should remember forever. Nobody feels sorry for you. No star in the wide universe dims its radiance for your weeping. Not a single particle in existence changes to satisfy your guilt. The frigid winds of truth do not warm up simply because you have recognized you have made a disastrous error. They want comfort. They needed someone to stroke their back and assure them everything was fine. But your buddy awoke them. They had been pushing the snooze button for far too long, and the alarm was blasting. They sat with their mouths gushing like a broken faucet, spewing explanations and justifications, saying, "But you don't understand. If only they understood how much I'm struggling. I never intended for things to end this way." Your pal shut it down with a single phrase. Enough. Their words were empty. Galaxies were huge, hollow, and ultimately meaningless. It was their judgments, actions, and culpability that led this to happen. It wasn't destiny. It was not a matter of circumstance. And it wasn't a cosmic alignment of bad luck. It's like a mountain. It is immovable, unyielding, and everlasting. It doesn't care about their feelings. It is unmovable. They can holler at it. They may deny it. They may also opt to run away from it. But it will still be present. To put it another way, they parted ways with someone who could not be replaced. Your buddy questioned them. Do you understand the magnitude of what you've lost? Do you understand the great worth of those you dismissed as if they were nothing while they were in front of you? Authentic, genuine, and real? What have you done? You smirked. You had doubts. And you ridiculed. You handled a unique cosmic gift as if it were everyday rubbish. You seemed to be whining about being wet, despite the fact that diamonds were dropping from the sky. Your potential has exploded into existence like a supernova, and the light is so bright that it blinds you. You've evolved into something more than magnificent, and now their eyes are opened. They can now see what was always there. But it's much too late. Your buddy made sure they understood that the cosmos does not give rewards for folly. There is no cosmic customer service desk, so you cannot return your terrible selections. The fact that you now have the information that you should have known from the start does not give you the capacity to reverse time. You will regret designing and building your own prison. You've placed every brick, mixed every ounce of cement, and built a jail around yourself. And now you're begging with them to give you the key. What's the response? Your friend didn't hold back. They presented this situation in a manner that was entirely plain and obvious. Not happening. They used your heart like a bargaining chip when you entrusted it to them in a vulnerable, open, and trusting way. They played games with something deemed sacred. They analyzed, plotted, and strategized as if human connection were just another transaction, a conquest to fuel their ego. They humiliated you by taking someone who would do anything for them and making you feel insignificant. Why did they take your passion and consecrate it with their indifference? They accepted your steadiness and rewarded it with their disarray. And for what reason did they do this? For the fleeting thrill of being desired, for the shallow satisfaction of knowing they could have you anytime they wanted to reach out, and for the pathetic power rush of seeing someone wait for their attention. They are ready to go above and above for you. Your buddy presented the decision, saying congratulations. You won the battle but damaged your prospects of winning the war for yourself. With the whistling sound of fate, the cosmic boomerang has returned, cutting through the air with a loud thud. Everything they put out has returned tenfold. The nonchalant scorn has returned as you have completely erased them from your existence. Their tepid curiosity has resurfaced as your fervent desire for a life that excludes them completely. Your friend mentioned how their actions extend across existence like ripples in a cosmic pond. Yet, the waves generated by their acts cannot be returned to the shore. They are the ones who must endure the consequences, which include every night of insomnia, every day of emptiness, and every horrifying realization that they destroyed something precious. They go through the processes of reliving every event and chance that was missed. They'll be sitting by themselves, the hours stretching into eternity. The person's mind will morph into a theater of pain, repeating the same tragic film in an eternal loop, with the individual portraying the antagonist in their own narrative. You'll see them reaching for their phone 1,000 times, their fingers hanging over your name. They will write messages that they will never send. They will rehearse apologies that they will never express. And they will speculate about prospects that will never occur again. Every song they hear on the radio will suddenly include lyrics that cut at the heart of their grief. Every movie scene about loss will seem like it was written just for them, and every happy couple they encounter on the street will be a live reminder of what they have discarded. That vacation you spoke about taking together, the future you casually discussed, and the life you might have created. All of this will be reduced to fossils of potential, cemented in the mud of their poor decisions. Their mind will become an archaeologist, unearthing relics of what could have been. Some doors cannot be opened again. When some bridges are burnt, when they try to cross the other way, they leave nothing but ash under their feet. Your close friend brought to their attention the ease with which they could abandon you, the casual confidence with which they did so, and the way in which they assumed you would always be a possibility, waiting in the wings of their life until they thought you were worthy of taking the lead role. The chutzpah of their error is almost amazing. While they were playing their games, the cosmic clock was ticking and they were taking you for granted. While they were seeking elsewhere for excitement, the universal scales were evaluating how much weight they put on your worth. The existential ledger recorded every investment you made that did not match. At this moment, the accounts are settled. The books had been balanced. The loan has been fully paid off, and the money they possess is peace of mind. If your heart is overflowing with God's blessings, let that love radiate. Click the super. Click the thank you button and donate $100 or more to grow seeds of faith that will touch countless lives. Your giving exemplifies His richness. Be a channel for His grace and watch His kingdom grow through you. Your buddy personally asked about them. Do you really believe they'd go back into your shadow after experiencing the sunshine of their own power? Look at yourself now, completely unrecognizable in your might. You stand taller, talk more boldly, and laugh more openly. The characteristics they disliked are precisely those that others find appealing. The elements of yourself that you thought would delight them suddenly shine brightly, attracting people who don't make you want to close your eyes. Once shadowed with doubt over their treatment, they now shine with clarity and purpose. Your voice, previously tentative when addressing them, now rings with power. Your borders, formerly porous to their convenience, are now as solid as castle walls against anything that does not suit your best interests. This metamorphosis occurred as a result of their absence, not in spite of what had transpired. They created the hole you filled with self-discovery rather than anxious attachment. They were the ones who created the void and encouraged you to fill it with self-esteem rather than their approval. You must continue as the cosmic forces whisper a message they cannot hear. Your chapter with them is completed. They were not the major character in your story. Rather, they were only a lesson to learn and a challenge to overcome. Your progress is living evidence that they were only transitory. They were just a stepping stone and would never be the goal. While others are drowning in the poison lake of their regrets, your route opens up to gardens of possibilities and new relationships that recognize your value. New encounters that honor your expanded horizons and reward your bravery. You can no longer be the person who would have welcomed them back. That version of yourself has gone. After being altered by the suffering that they imposed on you in comparison to the feast, you have realized that you deserve the things that they formerly provided you. You now look to be little more than crumbs. The person you are today would not even realize the value of what they provide in comparison to the abundance of affection you get from other sources. They have been restraining their affection like a miser with his money, and it now seems sad. The future that they merely mentioned in passing is a somber reminder of the firm plans you're now making with someone who isn't scared to commit to anything. This decision, rendered without malice by the cosmos, is the result of the natural law of cause and effect. Your buddy brought to their notice the occasions when you looked at them with such hope, when your eyes carried galaxies of possibilities, and your smile held planets of possible connection. Despite the fact that they were glancing away, checking their phones, and changing the topic, they kept one foot outside the door. The same door has been shut behind them. The key has been melted down and turned into jewelry, which you will wear as you confidently face your destiny. A future in which they are simply a distant memory, a cautionary tale that will one day be reduced to nothing more than a footnote in your own history. This punishment was not planned by anybody. Your anguish was not caused by a supernatural hand. Rather, they were the ones who created this destiny. With each casual comment, thoughtless action, each hour that they ignored you, all of their debt has been determined using the cold mathematics of existence. Payment is presently being collected in its full. These people are standing before the vast and heartless court of reality, and the judgment is unanimous. They are responsible for the predicament. Not only were they not thinking, but they were also not seeing or appreciating what was in front of them. Ego, concern, and the naive belief that certain things will always be there for the grabbing were the elements that led to their blindness. This led to their collapse. They treated someone exceptional, as if you were a normal person, and they are suddenly shocked that you have discovered someone who understands your true value. They didn't believe in your wizardry, and now they are watching in terror as you work marvels in another person's life. They opted to ignore your light and are now standing in the darkness, having finally left. They were unable to achieve the light. Your companion brought to your notice the boldness of your amazement, the arrogance of your incredulity, and the entitlement of your disappointment. What were they expecting to happen? Did they believe such a great spirit would remain in suspended animation until they determined you were worthy of their attention? Did they feel that rejecting you would reduce rather than free you? Did they expect you to shrink rather than grow into the space their absence created? Their error was huge. The knowledge comes much too late. Apologies from them are lost on ears that have developed to the point where they no longer detect their frequency. Pledges made by them are meaningless to someone who has discovered they are capable of addressing their own needs. The period of their mourning marked by bargaining is especially heartbreaking. They plead for one more chance, insisting that they have changed and promising that things will be different. However, the universe reacts with a deafening silence as they frantically try to bargain. The machinery of time and consequence continue to function regardless of their attempts. You're also offering bandages for wounds that have already healed into scars, which now serve as protective armor against precisely what you represent. Your buddy explained it in ways that even them could grasp. You are proposing to rebuild a bridge that you nuked from orbit. You are recommending water for a garden that you have set on fire, as well as bandages for wounds that have already become scars. Your acquaintance urged them to take a good look in the mirror. Your friend encouraged them to look at themselves in such a way that they could see the desperation etched into their features, the frantic energy that surrounded them like a swarm of insects, the weight of regret that now bends their spine, and the shadow of what they could have been that follows them wherever they go. They have transformed into a cautionary tale, a walking warning sign, and a living memorial to the dangers of taking connectivity for granted. They will remember your smile, especially the one that carried a world of meaning and promised depths they never explored. They will recall how your eyes kept their gaze at times of connection that they were too focused to notice. They will sense the phantom warmth of your presence, which has been irrevocably removed. They'll get preoccupied with small details, like the morning you gave them coffee, exactly the way they like it, the evening you listened to their work and issues with real attention, and the night you helped them overcome their worries. They did not see the invisible strands of compassion until they were cut. Every recollection will be a flash in their mind, and every flashback will reaffirm what they destroyed as a result of their ignorance, hubris, or just failing to see value while it was in front of them. These memories will rip them apart, and the most horrible feature is that they will be well aware that their agony is pointless. It does not lead to salvation and does not resolve the issue of reconciliation. The universal rule of cause and effect is the bill for services rendered and nothing more. It's merely an echo of their decisions, rebounding through the empty chambers of what may have been a common future. Nothing changes because of their pain. It does not heal or repair anything. You're here for a purpose. If you feel called, answer it. Click Join to get access to rare information, in-depth insights, and a strong community. This is not just a membership. It is an awakening. Step into your divine mission. Join the chosen. Someone else now benefits from the abilities you gained as a consequence of their irresponsibility. Someone else now gets an upgraded version of your love that is more self-assured, self-confident, and capable of setting boundaries. Someone else reaps the benefits of the development they unknowingly triggered. You never needed their approval. You just gave them the opportunity to see your advancement, which would have given them a front-row ticket to your wonderful existence. And they declined the invitation. The cosmic message reverberates beyond realms. Now, the same universe that gave them opportunity now bestows upon them another gift: clarity. This clarity entails a comprehensive and crystal-clear understanding of precisely what they accomplished and lost. This is precisely why it will never be reclaimed. Clarity isn't meant to be unkind. Rather, it is meant to convey a feeling of fullness. Now that the lesson has concluded, the circle has completed, and the social contract you and your companion established before entering this physical plane has fulfilled its purpose. They were the opponents that helped you grow spiritual strength. They were the darkness that helped you to define your brightness. They were the locked door that forced you to discover other ways to reach where you wanted to go. Because their role in your tale is fulfilled, the plot will continue without them. They have just 2 chapters left to write: acceptance and release. It's not because they've come to terms with losing you, but because you've already accepted leaving them. It is not because they have forgiven themselves, but because you have already turned your forgiveness into liberation. It's not because they're ready. Rather, you couldn't wait for them to be ready. This divine mandate resonates across the universe. After climbing, you reached frequencies that they are now unable to access. You live in possibilities that their limited perspective cannot comprehend, and you vibrate at frequencies that their regret-filled energy can no longer achieve. It is hard to bridge the gap between what transpired and what may have happened in the past. The folks standing on the edge are looking over at the location where you used to be, but you've progressed past that stage. A long time ago, there is no way you are still on the same map. Nonetheless, the universe has one compassion for them: growth. This is not growth that will lead back to you. Evolution is not the reason for your return. Rather, progress ensures that they will never make this cosmic error again. Expansion that converts their remorse into insight that they may take forward. The anguish they are feeling may either act as an anchor or an engine. The loss they are facing may either define their limits or raise their awareness. This conclusion has the potential to be either a lingering wound or the foundation for a new beginning. The choice is still up to them, as it always has been. However, your buddy insisted that they were well aware of this truth. You will not return. There will never be another moment when the exact combination of events, sentiments, timing, and potential will match. The specific doorway and issue has not only closed, but has entirely gone. The version of you that might have loved them has evolved beyond recognition. The version of them you might have loved lives only in the imaginary realm of what could have been, where the connection they grieve was shattered not by external forces, but by their own choices. It became extinct as a consequence of their actions. A comprehensive spiritual accounting has been done. Despite all that has happened, the cosmic scales have been restored to balance, and universal equilibrium has been maintained. One fact has remained unchanged. Nobody feels sorry for them, as your buddy has clearly said. Not even your buddy, who watched their heartbreaking confession, nor has the cosmos seen their delayed realization, nor you, the one whose value they overlooked until you were out of reach. There is nothing unique about their pain, sorrow, or loss. Neither of these are remarkable. Simply said, these are the occurrences that are predictable as a consequence of choices taken without proper awareness. They handled the extraordinary as if it were nothing unique, and today they are only worthy of the ordinary. They treated the holy as if it were everyday, and today they can only access the banal. They mistakenly felt that since they were scarce, they could be replaced, and as a consequence, they were replaced. Their cries do not alter anything. Their regrets don't build anything, and their realizations don't cause any change. The time for such transformations has passed. Just like a comet, which only appears once in a lifetime. It is only visible for a brief period of time before vanishing for future generations. Their role in the broader scheme may be to become the personification of consequences, the live reminder of the cost of heartlessness. Perhaps it is now their responsibility to serve as a lighthouse warning to those who are at a similar crossroads. Perhaps their role is to become the personification of consequences. The notion that their pain will prevent another person from committing the same mistake they made may offer them with a cold consolation. They may take false comfort in the knowledge that their loss may prompt another individual to appreciate the importance of what is in front of them. Your buddy delivered the conclusion without sympathy, and it reverberates across reality. It is their fault. The only thing left for them to do is completely release you after they have accepted, assimilated, and completed the alchemy process, taking advantage of your current state of freedom. It is not for your benefit, but for theirs, since they will remain trapped by an outcome that cannot be changed until they accept the irrevocable finality of this sad loss. Your progress has been made. The only thing that matters right now is whether they will follow suit or remain stranded in the absolute zero of what cannot be regained. They are confronted with a chilly and merciless reality. What they had previously had is no longer accessible. What they crave is unreachable, and all they need is acceptance. You have no option but to go ahead. The past is no longer a choice. However, there is a distinction. Moving ahead opens up prospects for progress, wealth, and pleasure.